Meeting of the Sherman County Board of Commissioners comes to order, please.
I make a motion to accept the agenda as written.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded we accept the agenda as written. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I make a motion, we approve the previous minutes from June 12th.
I second that.
Been moved and seconded we approve the minutes from June 12th. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's passed.
I also make a motion, we pay the bills in the amount of $809,597.62.
That's the total.
That's total from three, 592, 96, 68, 166, 629, and 54,000.
I second.
Been moved and seconded. Pay the bills. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's passed. Please remember on those bills that the second round of distributions was in that, and
That's why it's so high.
that's why it's so high, yes. Get on the right page, okay. We have in other new business, board appointments. Do we have a candidate that had,
We have three positions that were done today, and we've only received one application.
okay, so can we table that one until,
Yep.
okay. We will just table that until we have more numbers to look at.
That's the Sherman County,
The
hospital.
hospital board,
Okay.
yes. Then we have the transfer of property agreements. Those are all good?
Do we need a motion on that, Brett? Well, I make a motion, we accept the property agreements for Task Force 7 and its ownership of some battery tools and some other tools that will become ownership of Sherman County from a previous grant.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Been moved and seconded, we approve, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion is passed. We have a gravel agreement, did I miss that one in my pile here? This is an agreement with AJ Stevens, same contract as usual.
Yeah, same
It's
same
just-
price as what you guys previously approved for the other
Okay.
individual.
So, this is on the sand pit at 29,840. I need to approve that contract.
I make a motion, we approve the contract with AJ Stevens for gravel. Is it what, for $1 a
Dollar a yard.
yard?
For, yeah, dollar a yard.
Is that a 5-year agreement? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I second.
Been moved and seconded, we approve gravel agreement, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion is passed. And then, we have 3 mower bids. Okay. We have one from Sale or Supply for a 72-inch rear charge Super Z with the Kawasaki's that have that big 35 horse Kawasaki motor
Yep.
on it. And then we have a bid from, is this from Yost?
Mm-hmm.
For, what, M&M's is 13,666, and Yost is 13,590. And I'm trying to see what 72-inch rear discharge, same thing. You know what size motor that one has on it?
I don't for sure on it.
Do you have a preference?
Well, I mean, Matt's got them in, I mean, it's basically the same bid, so you might as well go with the Hustler. It's in stock, you don't have to wait on it.
Yeah. What
And then-
was that provisional price on the 13,590 compared to the 16? Is that just a promotional thing?
Right, that's just
Okay.
how they bid it, yeah.
Okay. And then Deere had a couple, but they were at 16 and 17,000.
Yeah.
And you're only needing one?
Right. And that'd be for the Smoky and the cemeteries, the fire training site, and Summit Road and Bridge.
Right.
That's where it'd all be used.
Well, if they're that close to the same price, I know the Hustler's a awfully good mower.
Yeah,
It's a mid-deck and,
they all are.
they all are?
Yeah,
Okay, I was looking, okay.
yeah.
No.
I make a motion, if Rod agrees that he would like the Hustler, we'll make the motion for 13,666. We purchase that one.
I'll second.
Been moved and seconded. We buy from M&M Supply. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed. Okay.
Okay, and then I don't know, did you have the thing, okay,
Oh,
for the cost share?
yeah.
Because we were selected through the state for $1 million cost share for Highway 24 going east for next year.
I didn't think I saw that. Okay, we're gonna do an overlay or?
Three-inch overlay, just like we did west.
Okay.
Was that scheduled for next year anyway, or is this?
Well, we put in for it every year, but
Right.
you only get selected every so often. And we were selected this time around for it.
Okay,
And the total estimated cost is gonna be 2,722,000,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna get 1 million.
Yep,
Okay. But that's what we've been using the
Sales tax.
sales tax money for, so.
and we
Yep.
have it to cover the difference. Okay.
I mean, I hate to pass up that free money.
No.
That much money, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. We don't need to do any motion on this, they awarded the, we do? Okay. That's the cost share.
So I'll make a motion that we agree to the cost share program with KDOT for Highway 24.
I second the motion.
Do we need to know the amounts?
1 million.
Amount was for 1 million. Is that correct?
yep.
Been moved and seconded that we accept the grant. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion's passed.
All right, that's all I got.
Thank you, Rod.
Yep.
Hey, Ron, don't run away, have a seat.
Hey, Brett, was there something we needed to do on the vacate the road petition that we brought up last meeting?
No, they haven't gotten us the notices and stuff back yet.
Okay, so when that comes through, you'll let us know.
Correct, and
Okay,
I've got all the paperwork to Ashley, what she'll need to do after the fact. And I should have said something when you guys approved the agenda. I do need a quick executive session with Rod and Ashley and you guys. Do you guys mind just doing it now?
Well, I think, yeah, while Rod's here, how long you need, sir?
5 minutes.
I make a motion, we go to executive session for 5 minutes
Attorney-client.
for attorney-client privileges.
A second.
Been moved and seconded. 5 minutes for executive session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign. Motion's passed. Everybody gets to leave the rock. Meeting will come back to order, please. Let's go ahead and continue with appointments. Mrs. Sandy? They stole all the other chairs, Lonnie, so you'll have to stay in the
I
background.
have to come up here by myself. Anyway. Seems like this year rolls around pretty fast, wasn't it, this year? Anyway, in your packet, I've got a letter about what we've been doing this year, and I've got our annual report and the budget. The good news is I'm not asking for any more money, asking for the same amount that you've given us the last couple years. And the good news is the state legislature has passed a bill that they will match what the county gives us 2-to-1 up to $50,000. So like last year, we got 30 from you, 30 from them. This year, if we could get 30 from you and 50 from them, it's going to make a big difference. With all the changes going on in our federal offices, we ran with for NRCS, they had about 300 and some employees in Kansas, and over 100 of them took that DRP2. And that's kind of the goal. They'd like to get back to 2019 when we ran with, let's say, 225 in NRCS. But what I've been hearing, and there's nothing absolutely definite, but districts are going to have a lot, well, we are right now having a lot more responsibility. And we have Jasper Perigo is a district technician that's hired by the district through a grant that we get through the state. So his salary and benefits are covered through the state. And Josh Joyner is the only NRCS person in our office. He's a natural resource specialist. Bernadette, who was the supervisor EDC, took the DRP2. So there's lots of turmoil, needless to say, in our office, but and we have been advised through our state association that we will be picking up more responsibilities all the time. And that might not be all bad, honestly. So, but I just kind of told you, we've done most of our same programs. Our cost share program, we had our sign up in May. We didn't get quite as much money through that this year, but I've already got applications to take care of that money. We had our 4th grade roundup in Colby in April.
That's always a real big,
Huh?
that's always a real big crowd.
It really is. It really is a good program, and we have it at the event center in Colby. The group that puts that on are the 9 district managers in the Northwest Kansas Conservation and Environmental Alliance. And we got some good news. The National Women's Organization in NRCS awarded us with an award this year for the things that we do out here. So that
Very
was
good.
really nice. We sell grass seed and trees to fund our enterprise fund, which the things that come out of enterprise are everything other than just salaries, because the operational fund, which you guys support, is literally just wages and payroll mainly, and some things like our audit and stuff like that. So our audit is done for 2024. They didn't find any issues. But what I've got in your packets is a copy of that. I'm sorry, I'm hoarse this morning. The bill from the governor was signed, and Rick Billinger has always helped us with the legislative stuff, and appreciate what he's done too. But then at the back is the actual budget, and it really hasn't changed hardly any from last year. We try to be conservative, and we did give out high school scholarship again this year with money we make on trees and grass seed, stuff like that. Any equipment in our services, like our computer service, is separate. I work off of two, one for the district, one for NRCS when I'm helping them. So I guess, do you have any questions?
I think it's great that they're up your budget on that side with that deal to give you a little bit more money and
So for 2026, you're just asking for the same thing from us as we look at our budgets. Okay.
Right.
very good.
When do you need a certification letter?
Yeah, it's,
Is there a certain date you need that by?
yes, let's see. Oh, I'm looking. I need to know when it was adopted. They really like to have them in by September 1st, that's the latest.
We can handle that. Okay,
I don't know, Lonnie or Dean, do you have any?
You mentioned the tree sales, I just wanna put in, but we had a really good tree, sold lots of trees this year, but a lot of it was due to thanks to Pheasants Forever. They gave us a matching grant on that, paid basically 50%, so I mean, if somebody bought trees, they basically get it for half price, and that we sold.
Oh, that helped, didn't it?
We sold a bunch of trees, I don't know, 960 some cedar trees, and I don't know, 438 or something like that, other trees, which is a big increase, probably aren't gonna have that again, but it was really, district didn't really make any more money. We sold a lot more trees, we sold them, basically, the big Sherman County, people in Sherman County got a really good deal on trees this year.
Is that all you need?
Yeah.
all right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Sandy,
coming
for
in.
You bet.
Thank you.
Mrs. Gable, thank you guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As I said earlier, I'm Dawn Gable with Options, which is the Domestic Violence and Sexual Assault Services for Northwest Kansas. And every year we come to you and we put together a report that is amalgamated between the KBI data that's reported up from your local law enforcement to them, and then our services together gives a picture in time, and it's 2023 because
Right.
they just are a little slow. And it's a picture in time on what's happening with domestic and sexual violence within your county and the state. The reason for that, in Northwest Kansas, 3/4 of the murders that happen are from domestic violence. And across the state of Kansas, that's approximately 1/3 of murders are from domestic violence. And so this was a partnership and reporting that started probably about 15 years ago now, maybe even longer. So looking at your county, on the purple side, if you would, there's a blue side and a purple side. If you go with the purple side, in the middle on the left is domestic violence in Sherman County. 29 domestic violence incidences were reported, resulting in, and you have some wonky numbers, 38 arrests. This means 131% of the DV reports led to an arrest. Now, that's weird. It's multiple arrests at a single report. That's what's going on. Yeah. And by the way, you can see that the state average is 52%. Statistically, KBI, and we like to shout, we'd like to get to 60%. You're at 130%. That's very high. That's really good. And it seems weird to say that it's good to arrest people, but it triggers help. It triggers help, especially for the abuser. There are classes in anger management and conflict resolution. There's mental health services that can be triggered. There's some addiction help that can be triggered. And the first step is recognizing there's a problem. We're here whether there was an arrest or not for the victim. We're here whether it was called in or not. So we provided 136 services for survivors of domestic violence in Sherman County in 2023. If you go down to the right-hand quarter of it, you can see that we provided 0 nights of safe shelter for residents of Sherman County, and that means we paid cash. We didn't pay cash for anyone. We transported people to family. We transported people to friend. We helped them find a different apartment, maybe. And the reason for that is our closest safe shelter is Hayes. Otherwise, we pay for hotel rooms, which a lot of people don't like because there's limited hotels and the abuser knows where the hotel is, right? So it's just not where you can find shelter and you're alone in a hotel. So we are in the process and we have a tax credit, community tax credit awarded to us for remodeling our building we have donated that's in Colby to have 8 shelter beds. We have offices in that building. It's a rather large building, but it needs to be some remodeling. So that's the good news. So we currently are distributing those tax credits to anyone who would like to participate in that. And so that'll kick in our remodel probably within next year. Well, so good news on that. We'll have some shelter beds closer to home here. One of the things that says we report on how many children served. We are the 24/7 emergency services shelter for Northwest Kansas. We don't duplicate services out here in the hinterlands. So the Kansas Children's Advocacy Services that help with sexually abused children, if they need a rescue or shelter off hours, they're 8 to 5 weekdays, we do that and then hand those children over. We did not do any of that, obviously, in this county, nor did we shelter any regular domestic violence experienced children. If you flip over to the other side, this is sexual assault. There were 2 rape incidences reported to law enforcement, resulting in 2 arrests with 100%. A+ report card for your law enforcement. I wish they were here today so I could shake their hands. Frequently I do. We don't ever criticize, we just encourage. And yours are just doing a bang-up job here.
Right.
And of course, more incidences can happen than are reported. But if it's reported, the fact that something was followed through is amazing. 5 services were provided by us in your county in 2023. We pay for, with our grants, a SANE nurse, which is your forensic exam with a sexual assault nursing exam in Hayes. We also have a physician trained here in Goodland. So you are the headquarters for that should there need to be a forensic exam. There's some limitations because we don't have a 24/7 SANE nurse here as of yet. We're still working on that, but we do have a working hours physician trained to do that. So all of that being said, do you have any questions about the report for your county? We provide a lot of other services too. For instance, people don't think of people who are older being held hostage, say for their Social Security check or being abused in the home. It is domestic violence, and we take care of that and help shelter them if that happens, which happens more than people think. And then the other thing is sexual trafficking. We are the shelter for that. So if law enforcement stops someone on I-70 and they're trafficking individuals, we are their shelter and a conduit to get them to a safe place of their choice. We are not funded by state and federal tax dollars in general. There's some, we have multiple grants going on, but in general, the bulk of our funding is the Victim of Crimes Act, which is fines paid for bad deeds across the United States and in the state of Kansas, and Victims of Crime Act. Many types of organizations are funded, but heavily domestic and sexual violence services are funded that way. But they leave an 18% gap because, on purpose, to make sure that there is local support for these services. So that's, again, we come to you with a appropriations request of $3,000, and we hope that you will consider us in your budget to keep these services strong. Any questions about that?
We've given in the past, have we not?
You have.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Well, I want to compliment you guys because the services that you provide and working with our law enforcement, our county attorney and stuff, somewhere along the line, things are getting done.
They are getting done.
And we appreciate that so much
you.
because that tells us that we're on top of the ball doing it and not lagging
You are.
behind. It makes
And
it
it's a
tough.
good sign due to the fact, I mean, you are one of the 3 repositories of children that go to higher education in our area. Fort Hays, Colby Community, and your vocational technical school. And our numbers really reflect that due to that age group. So I really appreciate your group of folks. Not that it can't happen to older people, as we just talked about. So if you have questions further on, please just reach out and contact our information's on here.
On the bottom.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you so much
Thank
for your
you.
time
Thank you
this
For
morning.
your time. Mr. James isn't here yet. We still have one resolution. This is the resolution 25-8. County Commissioners and amendment thereto to direct and appoint a county appraiser who to serve. So we need to, we talked to her last week, or last meeting. or
Yeah, it was last month.
Last month,
2 meetings ago.
so,
So this was drawn up as a follow-up to that, so.
Is that
I
right?
make a motion, we approve resolution 25-8 to continue our contract for county appraiser.
All right, second.
it's been moved and seconded that we continue contract with our county appraiser. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion is passed.
Melissa's not able to be here, but the Edson
Post office,
Edson post office the building's being torn down. They need to place a box there, so they need a letter from the commission stating that that location's okay. And they need to let them know by July 2nd.
okay.
That's okay with you guys?
They're doing it, they're putting it up and everything, they just
Yeah.
need our approval for
Yep.
the land. Okay, so then,
So who's actually putting it up? It's federal government or
I assume the post office.
post office.
post office people? Okay.
Give you that one.
Show Kevin that.
that just a little bit?
The post office is closing,
Okay,
and they're tearing the building down. So what they're wanting to do is put, I would imagine, just a post box.
gotcha.
You know, I don't know if it'll be one of the blue ones or a gray one or what it is, but it just, and they imagine that looks on the map according to what I saw is right where the post office
Yeah.
on that street, so people can drop off their mail there.
Did you wanna make that
Go
motion?
ahead, Kev. You got it.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we allow a box to be placed. It'd be a postal box placement in Edson, where they'll be tearing down the old post office.
I second that.
Been moved and seconded. We approve the postal contract. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion is passed. Come on up, Mr. James. You're just,
Do we have to draw something up and sign it, or is there something they need?
I'll just send a letter, yep.
Okay. Morning, Brian.
Morning. Chris is coming, but I guess he's about to stay in for the rest of the meeting, so make it awkwardly uncomfortable for him. So
he who gets here first gets the chair.
that's right. That works.
That's the hot seat. The cold seat's back there. There you go, Steve.
Mr. Schwager
Thank you.
told me to grab the stand.
Or sit in the corner. You can grab that chair out of the
You
corner.
can slide the chair up too
Stand
if you want.
awkwardly so everybody can just stare at you. Okay, good morning. All right, so I've already talked to Brett about all this, and he just said what I have wrote looks good because it mimics what the state is requiring. So I got it for you guys. So the state legislature has passed a new law, if you want to say, in regards to communities that are 30,000 or less population. That in case, well, it doesn't have to be in case of emergency, but in our scenario, it would be a case of emergency. We're not going to do this on a daily basis by any means. But in case of emergency for us, if we would ever have a situation where we had, like what happened on the 14th of March,
Right.
where we only had X amount of EMTs, but we had 50 patients, where you only have one technician in the back and then a non-certified driver in the front. So per state of Kansas, to make that legal, they passed a law making that. It wasn't because of the 14th deal. That was already in the works because of it or going on. So state of Kansas requires that in order for this to be legit for our service, the county commissioners have to approve this policy for our service, and you guys have to sign it, which is on this sheet. I didn't do. I'll have to sign this, pass the sheet around. You guys will have to sign it if you guys approve it. So that's all it is. Basically, it is. So what's blacked and highlighted, as you can see, that is the new addition to our policy. Everything else is what was already there. So basically, it just states that if Northwest Kansas Ambulance Service is short-staffed and a second out 911 is required, but not enough technicians are available, and the ambulance may respond with one ALS technician and one non-technician driver. Per state statute, the non-technician driver must be CPR certified, and he or she must have proof that they are CPR certified. It's preferred that the non-technician driver is a Sherman County employee / Sherman County firefighter. So,
Because that's usually what you use,
Yes.
right? If there's a second ambulance,
You just
the
grab
firefighter is a driver.
correct.
Okay.
That's correct. And typically, when we do this, we always have two technicians in the back. So, like on a MVC or just a MCI, or anything like that, where we have to have two technicians in the back, we'll just grab a firefighter off of an engine or a rescue, and then they'll drive. So we can have two technicians attending two patients in the back, kind of what happened over the weekend. But over the weekend on Saturday, we had a 2-car accident with 3 patients. So we had to put 2 patients in the back of Med 5. And luckily we had a EMT that was on rescue, and we pulled him off. And so he teched with one of our other AEMTs in the back. So we had 2 AEMTs attending 2 patients in the back of that ambulance with the EMT driver. So that's what we did with that. That happened over Saturday. So anyways, so that's what I got. So do you guys have any questions for me?
This is something that's come around a long time ago. You know, I remember having a discussion with the state many years ago over, we had a mass casualty, and they said, well, you can't have, law requires that you have this and this and this. Well, this helps cover that to where we have one technician in the back, a county employee or certified person driving is, it's a long time coming, I
Right.
think. But I think it's a great thing. I hope we don't have to use it very often or ever again, but,
Right.
it happens.
This is basically a CYA
Right.
policy because we did get gigged, unfortunately, by KBIMS. I was a little upset with KBIMS. Not once did we get reached out by KBIMS, not by a single person. They say they did, but I didn't get a phone call. They said they called me, but they didn't. I got proof of that on my phone. I never got reached out by anybody by KBIMS. I got reached out by other medical directors or EMS directors across the state asking how we were doing after that 14th incident, but not a single person. But what we did get was a write-up by KBIMS because we had to put a patient in the back of a fire apparatus.
What's KBIMS?
Kansas Board of EMS.
EMS.
Okay.
So I was extremely frustrated with them. You would think that they would be very supportive and they would reach out, especially with the 71 car pileup. You would think that they would reach out and make sure that we were okay and that we needed the help that we needed. And not once did we get a phone call. Chief Sherman didn't get a phone call. Nobody didn't get an email, nothing. So that's why I'm a little frustrated with
Well,
KBIMS, but it is what it is. That's
that-
beside the point.
That's, but if you had one outdated needle, you'd get wrote up for that too.
That's exactly right.
And that's the fallacy of it. I know I spent several hours on the phone with them when I got slapped around a little bit on mine. So this will help.
Yes, sir.
I'm in favor of it, very much so.
Do you have anything to add?
I do have a question for that situation.
Mhm.
I'm assuming that you have probably talked to everybody that's been involved in that. And I just was kind of curious how you perceive them mentally.
As in my staff.
Yes.
So we had the 1033 Foundation come out, and they twice they came out, and they did what they did, and then of course any staff, they were of course advised of the services that we have with the county if they needed mental health services or something like that. So also advised my staff that I have open door policy, and I only had one staff member that I know for a fact that was struggling with that whole ordeal, and that individual I know transferred to the sheriff's office. That individual said reason why they transferred to the sheriff's office was because of pay. They were getting paid more at the sheriff's office, but I feel it was because of that MCI. I don't think that they were coming out fully of how they were truly feeling about the whole ordeal. So the one thing that I know about emergency service people is that they hold everything in. They try to act tough, and I've been in this game for 22 years, so I've seen a lot of crazy stuff. Steve's been in it a lot of time. Kevin was in it for a long time too. So you see a lot of things that you don't want to see ever again. And in order for you to continue to do this job, sometimes you just got to push that stuff in the back of your brain. You just got to keep moving. Because if you don't, and you let it eat at you and burn you out, then you're not going to be able to do the job anymore. So what I'm getting at is that I personally did not have anybody come into my office and specifically tell me that they were having issues with that MCI. So,
The reason I'm asking you is I talked to a gentleman. He's actually practices over in Colorado, and he represents, or he works with 13 different counties. And his expertise is actually in working with first responders after incidents like this. And he has a salary and is split by those 13 counties. I asked him if he could serve Kansas. He said he would look into that to see if his certification would cross over state lines, and he thought it would. But he also said, he said if your county and other counties in Kansas were interested in doing that, he would be more than happy to serve us. And he said, I have one salary, and that salary would be split between those 13 counties and whatever counties that you have in Kansas that would want his deal. He says, thing about that, he says, you don't call me every day.
Mhm.
He said, the incidents and when you would need me is very, you know, he said, you don't really know, but you may not need me for a year or two, and something comes up, and then you might need me. So I told him I was gonna actually talk to you and the commissioners if it was something that we needed to pursue. And I will tell you, he told me just what you said, they buried that.
They do.
But he said the thing about it is surfaces, and you may not even know it's surface, but people around you would recognize that you're acting differently, or you're not sleeping like you used to be, you're more violent than you used to be, or something else that you may not know. And he said it's very much worth their time to talk this stuff out.
I 100% agree with you, Harvey. You know, in emergency services, suicide is one of the main deaths of law enforcement, fire, and EMS. So, a firefighter in Golden, Colorado, committed suicide because of PTSD. He was in the fire service for 20 plus years. So, and he was affiliated with our mechanic who works on our fire apparatus. He came out and told me all about it. So it affected him, our mechanic, pretty heavily. So it is a huge deal that the fire service or emergency services in general needs to take serious. And it's not the old days like it used to be, you know, just suck it up and move forward. You know, we got to take care of each other, and we got to, you know, like you just said, look out for the differences and the norms that typically people show and everything else. So, because I can tell you this, I'm not the same of you know, after that event. So I find myself being more easily angered, kind of on edge more after that event. So, but as time goes by, you know, it's getting better. But I count down. I got 12 more years left, and I can retire. So,
Not that he's counting that. How many hours did you say?
Well,
so
How
This
many
guy-
more events will you have to handle? in
yeah,
that
I
time?
know, right? So, but no, I appreciate that, and I think that's obviously something very serious. I think we need to look into, and I agree. Yeah.
Well, this gentleman, he said, my salary is 100,000, and you can split it by 50 counties. He didn't care.
Okay.
He says, that is my salary. And it's divided equally among those counties. And right now it's divided by 13 in Colorado.
Okay.
And if it's something you want me to pursue, I will get you his name, and I will even contact him to see if he would.
Yeah,
see
I
where-
think so.
see-
I think so, and then I can reach out to the surrounding counties, maybe even Region 1 with EMS, Region 1, and see if those counties, because that's a big area, and see if they'd be interested in getting involved in this. And if you split all those counties up, we can. That's a pretty
It would be-
reasonable deal.
It'd be very reasonable for us.
Yep.
You know, and pursue that. So I will do that.
Yep.
I didn't know for sure where you were and if that was still a need for us.
Yep.
But I think it is. But
Oh, I think it always is, not just because of this incident, but because of the incidents that we run on, not every day, but a lot, you know, there's a lot of stupid stuff that we see on a weekly basis here in Sherman County. I don't think people realize the things that our staff sees, law enforcement wise, EMS wise, not mostly fire wise, we're not that active, but EMS and law enforcement for sure, the things that we see and deal with, on a weekly basis can eat at you. So, for sure.
Yeah, I just want the public to know, thank you, but be understanding sometimes, you know, as you progress through these things, well, sometimes you get a little calloused.
Mhm.
And, well, gosh, don't you have any feelings? Well, yeah, but I've got them bottled up, else I'll really blow off the steam and make them understand, hopefully that they understand what kind of things they're going through, because you have to put your work, when you're out there on that job, you have to focus completely on what you're doing there.
Mhm.
And if you have to bring that baggage along, it makes it awfully difficult. And we appreciate, and I think anything we can do to help is so vitally important.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Perfect.
We need a motion probably to approve this contract.
You wanna make that one, Harvey?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the change in our EMS second out ambulance. That it can have a non-certified driver, is that the way, and
To
one,
be second out, 911s and inter-facility transfers.
yeah, the way Brian put it. I make that motion.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is passed. So how's paramedic school going?
Halfway through.
Halfway through, okay.
Send that down to Harvey.
I was trying to get that guy's deal, I can't find it. I will.
That group that came counseling right after the event that I got to visit with a couple of the counselors, one of the gals, she's a ways away from it, but she's gonna certify in this same type of counseling, but she's away from it. She's out of Denver.
Out of Denver. You know, I know that it's very hard to get people to come to those and open up,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you know, if you've been through it, then you understand a little more that, you know, I can take you by the hand and lead you into that room, but I can't do any more than that.
Mhm.
And that's the part that, you know, they have to really sit down and talk and see what they can do to. But the nice thing is, whenever they figure that out, then it makes their life a little easier and your
Yeah,
life a
and
little
we know
easier.
you guys are very supportive of your staff and that same thing, so. But continue to do what you do.
Yep.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, gentlemen.
You bet.
Uh-huh.
Appreciate you.
I think we got all of our business done.
I did get one letter. I can, about gentleman wanted to come and talk to us
The
about.
wind generators.
Wind generator.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
So,
Did you see that email?
No, I didn't. I haven't looked at my iPad a whole lot here lately.
Well, I didn't answer it because I thought maybe it'd be best we bring it up here to invite him into a meeting.
we have a lot of that.
Leo Gorgens
Yeah.
from,
Okay, I saw that.
what company was that?
Next era.
Yeah. Is there anything keeping these wind towers from coming into our county
Nope.
as an individual or a company? I mean,
It's the landowner. If the landowner wants to lease their ground to that's their. The only thing we have control over is if they use the county roads, then we have a
And
policy set forth
We
now.
went through all that, what, a year or two ago?
Yeah.
Some folks at Folston Sitkin helped us draft a resolution and the policy. And we have, basically, they're required to enter into a road use agreement because obviously all that heavy traffic.
yes.
So, and then I think we put some minor zoning things in there. You know, they have to be so far from a residence, that type of thing, and
Right.
setbacks away from the road.
Okay.
But no, I mean, there's nothing keeping it from coming in, they just have to make some agreements when they get here.
I guess I knew that. So
Mhm. So I would like to hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
So
if you want to come,
I can reach out to him.
you want to reach out and just tell him if he would like to be on our agenda at the
Yeah.
next meeting, or
whenever.
that'd be fine.
Okay.
Fire board minutes. Did you guys look at those?
Yeah,
I don't think there's really much action.
it looks like it was a short meeting. They didn't do much, so I'm good with it.
That's with me.
I had one other question too. Volunteer groups at the Smoky Gardens, haven't brought this up with Rod. Since we've appointed Rod to be our liaison for anything going on down there, if there wasn't a group that wanted to volunteer to do something, is there a liability thing on it, or is it something you just line up so Rod knows that they're doing it and he's okay with it?
Yep.
Okay.
The last year, I think it was, we were looking at putting where they got the old cottonwoods tore down,
Mm-hmm.
and we're looking at putting new trees in there.
Mm-hmm.
And Katina Davis is with
Girl Scouts.
Girl Scouts.
Yeah.
And they were
That's what I was
wanting
wondering. You know, I know different groups and have done things down there, how that works.
Yeah. They were volunteering to help plant trees.
Okay.
So,
I just say that they have to have like county approved supplies, or, you know what I mean, like we know what's going on. instead of
Right.
just going to.
And that would go through Rod first, and if he had a problem, then he'd come to us. Okay. I was just questioning that. Thank you. I think that's all I've got.
I don't have anything else. I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Hold up, Harvey, I need
Sorry.
10 minutes with you guys,
he,
just the three of you.
he has these hidden agendas on us.
You know, as things come up,
As soon as I open my mouth, I stick my foot in, is what you're saying, so.
Well, I make a motion, we go to executive session with Brett and the three commissioners, is that it?
Yep.
For 10 minutes.
My second.
Been moved and seconded. So, executive session with the county attorney and the three commissioners. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Post same sign. Motion is passed. Executive session. It'll come back to order. Is there anything else needs to be brought before the county commission at this time? Okay,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion.
been moved and seconded, we adjourn, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose same sign, motion